some in real estate in Belize, in Arizona, and in Calgary, and also quite a bit of multi-unit property in Ottawa as well. So that's how I've built my wealth. And why I got a passion about wealth is my dad had a great work ethic. He worked really, really hard all his life. He was an entrepreneur. He owned multiple businesses. At age 72, he passed away. And what I found was he had a ton of credit card debt. He had a large mortgage on his house. His spouse at that time had to sell the house because she couldn't afford to live in it. He didn't have enough life insurance. I had to buy his burial plot to get him in the ground. So it said to me, you know, it's not about how much money you make, it's about what you do with the money that you make. And so I started to become a student, and for the last 20 years or so, I've been learning about wealth building. And wealth building is not just about money. Having a rich or wealthy life is not just about money. It's about living within your means and enjoying your family, your relationships. So this book, it's called The Wealth Formula. It does teach you how to become a millionaire, multimillionaire if you want. But it also has a lot of relational principles through it. And it's written as a story, so it's really easy to read. It's about a couple that's struggling, and they go out and they meet a mentor, and they have a lot of fun and learn how to get out of debt and build wealth. So that's what the book's about. It's a day like today, you can read the whole thing in a day. Because you don't want to be outside today. So it's really that easy to read. So where was I? I was, about 22 years ago, I was sitting in a situation where my marriage was on the rocks. It was not doing well. My wife just got into real estate about 5 years earlier. She was attempting to make enough money to leave me. I didn't know that at the time. That's what she was working towards. So she did really well in real estate, by the way. So good thing I fixed things. And then what happened was we were also living on the edge of financial. So we were in the point where I would borrow money on my MasterCard to pay my minimum payment on my Visa. And then you go to the bank, and the bank would go, oh, well, you make lots of money. And we can take away the pain, because there's pain here, right, when you're that tight on money. And they would consolidate everything into a nice little loan, and my pain would go away. And then I would find that shortly after that, the habits that got me into that pain hadn't changed. The pain went away, so I started spending more money because I had one easy, low payment. And then a couple of years later, I'd be back to the bank going, I got trouble again. And they go, no problem, you're making more money now, we can loan you more money again, and we consolidate. Now, Canadians are becoming very, very efficient at this because real estate values are rising. If you own a house, you're actually building equity accidentally because you're paying down your mortgage and your value of your house is going up. Well, they're using houses as a giant ATM machine, and every 5 years taking a huge withdrawal to pay off their line of credits and their car loans and their visas and all these different things, but they're not changing their habit. So the debt level in Canada is growing substantially. We have more individual debt as a percentage than the U.S. does. Okay? Really. Individually. Most of it's in our houses. Okay, so we're sitting on a crux of a very dangerous place. So my passion is about saving marriages and getting people out of debt and building wealth. And we do that through a wealth formula. So, where was I at the beginning? I was at what we call survival. I can't spell. Survival.
What's good?
Hey, they buy the cheap markers. These don't have spell check. So, I was at the survival stage where I was week to week. If I didn't make a sale or get a payment, I was in trouble. If my car broke down, I didn't just have a transportation problem, I had a financial problem and a transportation problem, so it was double. Let's try another one. Yeah, thank you very much. So that's not a nice place to live. And some of you in the room may be there, or you may know people that are at the survival place. And that's where you work for money. Around this time, everything changed when I found Jesus, although, you know, Jesus wasn't lost, so I think Jesus found me. So I started to learn these principles. I read a book called The Wealthy Barber. Anybody read that, by David Chilton, local guy? It's on Dragon's Den if you watch TV. Mine broke back in November of last year and can't afford to buy a new one, so I don't have a TV, so I can't watch it. So under survival, it's not a great place to be. And then I learned, the church taught me that I need to be giving money away. I need to be giving money back to the Lord. If you don't have a faith, you still need to give money back to the community, whether it's Cancer Society or Big Brothers, Big Sisters, whatever it is. Give some money away, because when you give money away, you are in control of money. Money is no longer in control of you. And when I learned to give away 10% of my money, what happened was I also learned to save 10% of my money. And when I did this, our lovely government has this thing where this one, because I was a high income earner, I put it in an RRSP because at that time it was 46% they'd give you back because I was top maximum income level. So I give 10% to the charity, I give 10% to myself, and the government gave me 10% back pretty much. So it cost me 10% to do this. So I'm giving away 10%, and the government's giving me 10% to go in my RSPs. It's a fantastic system, right? I'm building wealth, and I'm feeling really good about giving away. I call this level success. Once I really got going, before, right in between here is a place called stability. And the goal is to get from survival to stability, and we do that by paying down the debt. When we start building wealth, we're into the success area. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And once you become very successful, there's a caution here because it can become all about you. Even though you're giving the 10% away, it still might become all about you. But once you become successful, that's where we want to get into significance. Okay? That's why I wrote the book. You'll find that most authors don't make any money on their books. The cost of printing them and marketing them, very, very few authors make any money. This book is about changing lives. It's about significance. It's about me leaving a legacy for those that I'd like to help. Now the last S, you notice they're all S's? So it's easy to remember, okay? The last S is called submission. And submission for me was kind of this umbrella. Because when I submitted to the Lord, then I do His work. It's all His money. It's not mine. It makes it a lot easier. So if I'm doing something that may be a little risky, or I have to sign my house over in case it goes wrong, I'm okay with that. Because it's the Lord's house, and if it chooses that it goes back to somebody else, that's okay. You know, I'm okay with that. Now the other thing to be careful with is sometimes you're building business through leverage. When you borrow money from the BDC or from your bank for a business, you're leveraging other people's money for your business ideas, and you're leveraging. The scary thing, and be careful with this, is when you're leveraging for businesses, most businesses fail in the first 2 years. 50% fail in the first 2 years. And the largest reason they fail is undercapitalization. They don't have enough money to get through that period where you're not making money. And when you borrow money to start a business, that makes it even worse, because now you've got a loan to pay while you're not making any money. And that's one of the reasons BDC doesn't like to loan to startups, right?
Which is not true. We
But
do
you do, but
startup, but what we do is we help them understand what's involved.
Okay. you're coaching them through it, yeah. Yeah, I've listened to your presentation before. It's very good, the full presentation.
And an example of a startup that is support.
Yeah, you need support.
Yes. I was a startup and they gave it to me.
Excellent, excellent. But most of your business, most of the BDC's business is businesses that want to enlarge or buy another, absorb another company or go global or that type of thing, where the business owner's proven themselves and there's a track record of money coming in. So, anyway, where was I going with that, guys? You got me.
Submission. Submission.
Leveraging, yeah. So, yeah, building wealth is about leveraging. So, what I want to say about that is not every woman, but typically women have less propensity for debt and risk than men do.
What is propensity?
Propensity means they have they're more cautious. They don't.
Less reckless.
Yeah. So I learned a couple things. Listen to your wife. If she says that's not a good investment, then don't invest. But anytime you leverage, we have good debt and bad debt. I think bad debt is anything that you buy that decreases in value. So if you're buying on debt for a car or couch or furniture or groceries or anything that's consumed, a TV, yes, that's bad debt. Good debt is debt that you borrow that makes money. You buy a house, it's going to increase in value. Maybe not this year, but historically, if you hold the house for 10 years, you're going to be fine. Doesn't matter what real estate market you're in Canada. If you hold for 10 years, you're going to be fine. So things like that, I think, is good debt, or for opening a business, that kind of thing. When it becomes bad debt is when you can't sleep at night. And it's really bad debt if your wife can't sleep at night. All right. So there's all kinds of tips in here how to make money. Some people like, putting their money in something that's safe, like a guaranteed investment certificate, right? Has anybody got money in a high interest savings account?
Does it exist?
It doesn't exist, no. So,
BlackBerry.
yeah. If you're putting money into something that's guaranteed at 1-2%, you're actually guaranteed to lose money because the rate of inflation is running around 3%. Okay? So you're losing money guaranteed. That's why it's a guaranteed investment. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we want to earn how much? How much do we want to earn? 20%? Yeah, I like 20%. A lot of my investments are earning 25, 30%.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Guaranteed?
There are no guarantees.
It doesn't exist.
I can guarantee you can lose money, or I can give you a high.
Anyway, you pay taxes. That's guaranteed.
You're going to pay taxes, yeah?
You're gonna die one day.
Yeah. Does anybody know the rule of 72?
Yeah.
Yes? Who said yes? What's the rule of 72?
Money doubles in, if you divide the interest that you're getting, it will tell you when the money is going to double.
Yes. So if you get a rate of return of 6%, that goes into 72, right? 12 times. So it's going to take 12 years. And this isn't 100% accurate, but it's very, very close. It's amazing how close it is. 12 years, your investment is going to double. Now, if you can get 12%, how many years? 6. Can you get 18%? Sure you can. How many years?
4.
4 years. That's pretty cool. You know the fastest way to get 18% rate of return without paying tax on it is to pay off your visa. Because they're making 18% on you every day. right? Every day you hold a balance on a Visa and MasterCard, or if it's Sears, it's 24%.
29.
29 now?
No?
That's the Sears card. Their master's 18.
You know, when I was young, because I'm old, but I look young because I have, wait till I get
Because
to
you
this
think-
stuff. I got 6 grandchildren now. I might have to start having kids again. So Sears, when I was younger, didn't accept Visa or MasterCard or Amex. It was Sears, check, or cash. And the reason they did that was they put things on at 40, 50% off. Okay? People would buy it. Their finance department made more money than their retail department did. Because at 28, 29%, their money was doubling, how often? Almost every 2 years.
Yeah.
And they do a very small minimum payment. So it actually takes like 30 years to pay off that credit card if you only made the small payment. They're making tons of money. So they'd sell their product at cost if you buy it on your credit card.
But you know, in the new statements now by law, they have to show you, how much, how long it would take you to pay off that minimum payment.
Yeah.
How much at the last.
Absolutely.
And a
Yeah,
lot
they
of
have to
people
show
have
it.
changed their habits now.
Some have, but many don't care.
Many don't care.
Yeah, I can buy this for $10 a month, I'm going to buy it. It's affordable. You know, we don't think long term. A lot of people don't think long term. We're not in that crock pot. You know, our friend has gone back to Toronto, has he? Yeah, he's left. But we don't crock pot things anymore. We're microwave things, and we put it on the burner at high and brown it fast, right? Because we want things quick. So people don't want delayed gratification. They don't want to wait to get a car when they can pay cash for it. We want to buy it now, and we want to buy it on payments because I can afford, you know, they've even gone bi-weekly now, $89, $95 every 2 weeks, right? People go, oh, I can afford that, and I can drive this nice new car. It's awesome. So watch out for payments. You got to look long term, look for what the true cost is. Even when it says 0 interest, is it really 0 interest? A lot of times, or $5,500 rebate if you pay cash. Wow. So really the interest is $5,500 on that loan. So be careful out there. New cars are one of the worst things to buy. Buy a nice 2-year-old car, a lot of depreciation's happening. So if you want to hear a lot about how to build wealth, things about TFSAs, RRSPs, how to get 10, 12% on second mortgages, all kinds of stuff, sign up for my wealth building session. It's 2 hours. It's free. We have a lot of fun. I crack a few jokes and try and make money not dry.
Is it free?
So, pardon me?
Is it free?
It's free.
Is it in Toronto?
Is it in Toronto? It was in Toronto. You missed it. But I didn't do it free in Toronto. It was $35 in Toronto. I'll do another session probably beginning of the year. It was $35 and you got a free copy of the book autographed by yours truly. And that just helped me cover the room cost to rent a room in Toronto. When I do it here, I do it in my building. So it's no cost to me. It's just my time. That's my giving back being significant. Remember?
You give back 10%, you say 10%, 2 10%. But before you even get that paycheck, you know how much the Canada Revenue takes from you?
No, they don't take anything from me. They don't. I'm self-employed. I have to give it to them.
Give it to them.
They don't take it from me. But no, it's first fruits. It's 10%. And I don't advocate RRSPs unless you're a very, very high income earner. Okay, I see financial planners. I don't know if we have any in the room. There we go. You're one right there. Some of them will say, you know, they like to get young people in the habit of putting money away, and that's fantastic. And I teach about letting time do the heavy lifting and all of that as far as compound interest, compound rates. But when you're only at the lowest tax bracket, not the time to be putting in an RRSP. Because if you follow my program, they say you'll take it out at a low tax bracket. You won't. You'll be taking it out at your top tax bracket because you're going to be very wealthy when you're retiring. Okay? So watch out for that. A lot of things are already tax protected, like real estate, it's sheltered until you sell it. Stocks and bonds, it's sheltered until you sell it. So you don't necessarily have to put it into a shelter. And when you take stocks and you sell them and you've made money, it's capital gains. Capital gains has preferential tax rate. It's half rate. If it's inside your RSP, it's full rate. So be careful what you put in there and what you put those investments in.
Just a quick question. I've been telling my sons to use TFSA because right now they're still students, and that's,
TFSA is fantastic.
I don't know.
It's a
TFSA?
tax-free
Tax-free
savings account.
savings.
It's the worst name the government could have ever given it because people think it has to go into a savings account at 1% to 2%. It can be invested in anything that an RRSP can be invested in. And so you can put it into things that are earning 10, 12%.
Short-term.
You can put it in stocks, mutuals. But you can put up to $5,000. It started at $5,000. Right now, your maximum $25,500 per person. It'll go up in January by another $5,500. So in January, you'll be able to put in $31,000. So when it first started, people said, $5,000, that's nothing. Now we got a lot of money. You didn't have to register for it. It's retroactive to when the program started. You don't get any tax benefit from putting money in there, but whatever it earns, tax-free. Where's my tax person over here? The only thing it's sure is tax. No tax, no tax. This is the best gift the government's ever given us, and it's the most underutilized gift that the government's given us, because we don't
What's the
understand.
trick? What's the trick for the government?
There's no trick.
Are you sure?
There's no trick.
I don't trust them.
Believe it or not, like I spend a lot of time in Texas and Florida and all over the U.S. I just came back from Austin, Texas, where we're now the #1 real estate company in North America, Keller Williams, as far as number of agents. We broke 90,000 realtors in Canada and the U.S. Yeah, it's exciting. It took us 30 years to get there, but we got there. So, where was I? Government. So our government wants to be reelected. That's their only purpose.
So it's
Okay?
temporary. That's the trick.
No, it's not temporary. It's not temporary.
No, once it's in the law, it's a law.
But they want to do things that help us. And one of the problems is they run a huge deficit because they're trying to help us. And they want us to have good health care, they want us to have benefits, they want to have this. So they actually operate in a deficit even when they should have surplus. When the economy was great, the government still worked in a deficit because they wanted us to have more. It's that we want it now thing, right? Or I'm not re-electing someone who's cutting all our services, okay, and raising taxes so we can pay off that debt. We're electing the wrong people. We're doing it to ourselves. So we got to stop this. It will collapse. So with this, they recognize that the CPP and the pension plans, they're failing. They're not gonna have the money because they've spent the money that we've given them. They haven't invested it to have it for us for retirement. They've spent it. They're relying on the next generation's taxes to be able to pay our retirement. Okay, so they don't want us to rely on them for retirement. They want us to be able to build it ourselves. So that's why they came out with RSPs. That's why they come out with tax-free savings accounts, because they want Canadians to save rather than spend. Okay, so they're actually trying to protect us.
Okay.
All right?
Got it now.
Yeah, but I got a quick question. I thought it's the CPP Investment Board is an arm's length organization that's sort of doing the same thing as the Caisse de Placement in Quebec to invest that money, and they seem to be doing well from what I read in the papers.
They're doing well? I'm not so sure. I don't think they'll... We have a huge wave of baby boomers that are coming into retirement, right? And my estimation is that we'll be about 2023 before we see our economy really recover. And the reason is it's just demographics. The baby boomers are stopping spending and they're in their saving mode for retirement. The echo hasn't come to their maximum spending time yet. That's going to be around 2023. And the government's attempting to keep the economy running by stimulation. And you can't stimulate an economy if the demographics aren't there. And we're having less babies, so it's either immigration, because the only way things go up in value, like real estate for instance, if you're in a town that the population is decreasing, guess what happens to the value of real estate? It goes down. It only goes up in areas where the population is increasing because God's not making any more land, so you got more people that need to live somewhere, right? So supply's going down, demand's going up, the price is going to go up. You look at places like Detroit, they're bulldozing streets because people are leaving, they can't get jobs, they're leaving. The value of property is zero, and even if you buy it to rent it, there's no one there to rent it, so it's no good, right? It just doesn't work. So demographics drive our economy. Now I'm way over time, because you guys get me off track here.
I want to ask a question.
Yes.
Years ago, I went in to see my personal worker, banker, and I was just so curious about how you can get rich
Yes.
in this country.
Become a banker.
I realized that even
Not working for the bank, be the bank.
because I realized that even people with profession, even
Yes.
with your profession, you still don't make money. You just, okay, give an example. A doctor, you would expect makes a lot of money.
Yeah,
But
they
then
do.
he has huge bills and he's under a big, huge tax bracket that you can just get by. It's like the country is made for us to just get by. Just, what is...
I don't know, I'm not just
How
getting
so-
by, I like my life.
No, as in, how do you get rich in Canada? It's good that we have taken in everything. Well, no, because as an immigrant,
I wrote the book on it, just read the book, honey.
I will read the book, but let me ask the question.
Okay.
As an immigrant in Canada, our mentality when we're leaving home is we're coming to pluck money. Life is better here.
Yes.
That's why we come.
Money grows on trees here.
Yeah, and then we
Like
get
the
here, we
low-hanging
find out we have to sleep on the floor. It's like, the beds are really harder here. And things are not as we think it is,
Yes.
How do you make money in this country? Without stealing. Honestly, I think it's a very good question because
It's a
the
great
only avenue that I have been told I can make money is through MLM, multi-level marketing.
That's one way to make money.
Is that the only way to make money?
No.
One way.
No. It's one way.
I need to know other ways because
Robert Kiyosaki wrote a book
Korea doesn't-
called Cash Quadrant. You read the book?
the
Cash
Chinese
quadrant.
guy, right? Rich
Yeah,
guy
Robert-
quote that.
Robert Kiyosaki.
Yeah,
I don't know if he's Chinese, maybe
he's Japanese.
So, he said you can be an employee, you can be self-employed, you can own a business, or you can invest in passive income. Okay? Now, 10% of the wealth is over here, 90% of the wealth is over here, on this side. Here you work for money, you sell your life for money.
Yeah.
Right? Literally, you sell
Yeah.
you sell 8 hours of your day, if you're 24, you
It
sell 8
doesn't
of
matter
them.
what career you are.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
You are a slave.
So,
That's why we have the common ground.
now, we have a couple realtors in here. One here, and we have one over, where'd you go? Pink jacket, where'd you go? Your names are so hard for me, but I can remember clothing. Okay. So, realtors are self-employed. It just means they have the ability to earn more money for results. They're paid for results, not for hours worked. Okay? Anything you sell where you're commission-based, you can earn more money than you actually are worth. Like that? Okay. And that's where you get into the multi-level marketing, you get some of this, right? Now, the idea with multi-level marketing is you build a business, so it starts to slide this way, and the other people selling, now you get some money, which makes it passive income. All right? That's where multi-level marketing goes like this. Does that make sense?
I hear that.
When you're self-employed, if you don't show up for work,
You don't get
you still don't get paid. Right?
You have to work.
You have to work. But when you own a business, like I own a business, I own Keller Williams Solid Rock Realty. It's a company. We have 117 realtors that are self-employed that work for me. I was away for a week. I'm going away for a couple of weeks again in St. Thomas, St. Martin in a little while. My business continues to make money even if I don't show up. Okay? And then my real estate investments, my stock portfolio, my loans, second loans and that sort of thing, build construction loans and things like that, they make income. I still have to manage it. Money gets bored, okay? If you're not watching it, moving it around, managing it, it gets bored, it grows legs and walks away, okay? So you gotta watch this passive income, you gotta keep managing it. So it's passive, but you still have to be involved, okay?
So to make money, you have to have a business. You have to have like a system that works. That's all.
Yeah, or you got to take some of the money you earn here, like I did, and move it into this category. If I spend it all, if I spend all the money that I earn, then I'm going to work for the rest of my life. But if I get some of my money going into this category or this category, then my money is going to start working for me, and the teeter-totter starts tipping, okay? And suddenly my money's making more money than I am, then I can quit my job. All right? I'm going to give you a call later. I'm going to expand my business, so I'll give you a call.
You want
I have
some
your
money?
card.
One?
Pardon me?
Do you have a card?
Yeah. Vanessa, can you grab one out of my wallet, top slot there?
Give me the other cards.
Anyways, I've gone way further than I was going to go today. We're way over. So anyways, glad I could come out and meet all these great people.